I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you'd bow your head, please. Dear Lord, please watch over our local, state, federal, and world leaders in these times of uncertainty. Please lead the way so that we can have I'm not sure what we have. Good decisions. In your name we pray. Amen.
Jared from our engineering.
Is that Grant?
Jared.
Jared? All right, reading and approval of the minutes from February 6th, please.
Motion to approve and suspend reading.
Motion by Hack.
Second.
Second by Weidrich. Discussion? All in favor of approving those minutes, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Same sign.
Aye.
Okay, approval of the agenda. Any changes to the agenda? Monty, you didn't make any?
Nothing that I made.
All right.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion by Pillar,
I'll second.
second by Weidrich. Discussion. All in favor of the agenda, say aye.
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 All opposed? All right. Agenda's set. Okay, Jared, you're up.
Good evening, Jared and Grant from Moore Engineering. You should have a copy of our 2-page report, the meeting tonight. A couple things to go through. We'll just start with the water project on the north side of town. Remember, we have 3 general contractors. Everything we're talking about tonight is related to TAND. So TAND is our underground contractor that dealt with water main and miscellaneous other work. No construction going on right now, obviously, and this fall, you would ask us to get some quotes from them to do additional work up there. Thought is that we have them under contract, we have funding in place, we don't have to bid anything, we can just execute a contract change order or needed work around town if we want to do it. So maybe, the 4th time we've done this with well, page 2, taking us a little time to get these quotes from TAN, but if awarded, they would do this work in the spring. It wouldn't, shouldn't affect our closeout of this project. We'll be looking to close this out in probably about June, make the final payment, start the warranty period, and TAN has asked, or that we've asked TAN for quotes on would be some work at the water plant. Right now the water plant's served by a 12-inch water main, and it's not the most efficient thing in the world to, the idea is that we're going to sell this building. We should clean this up. So the scope would be to excavate in the front on the side of the building, plug and disconnect the 12-inch water main, run a new 2-inch service line into the facility. It sounds like there's some drawing in front of me, but it's an odd situation, and the service line today might run up the side of the building. Dave can fill in where I'm not perfectly on it, but The cost to do that is $22,209.13. The second thing that we've asked them for a quote on was to do some fence removal. So kind of on the northwest side of the treatment plant, we have a bunch of abandoned old infrastructure there that's kind of left over from when we used to have a water tower, back when we used the water plant. It's a bunch of old infrastructure there. So we've asked them to remove and clean up and dispose of all the fence, kind of fix up that area and reseed it. That's $2,835. And there's two big concrete vaults below ground that are filled with piping and valving that we've asked them to do demo on, which would include cutting off the slabs below ground, gutting those facilities, getting rid of, disposing of all the piping, cleaning it up, filling it in, and just getting rid of all that infrastructure. I will say right now that with the two vaults over there, we do have to do something with them. One of them's kind of haphazardly covered with some boards that are kind of rotted out. If we don't do this, we'll have to do something else. And so the quote for that third part is $22,995.24. The intention would be to do a change order, run these through, seek the project cost share that we have from State Water Commission, which is a 60% grant, which makes it attractive to run this through their contracts now. But everybody understand those three quotes that we all collectively, jointly sought from Hazen Construction? Yep.
So I guess the only question that I have, wouldn't this be then, I guess, like under that, I guess, original bid?
No. So the fence was? Oh, Grant just told me the fence was, but when we took off remember we were going to have them do some demo work on that underground reservoir out there behind the plant. And when we took that out, Casey, we took the fence removal out also because we thought that's what you wanted. But so we did like a $40,000 deduction already, but now if we do want to do the fence portion of it, that's the cost for it. But no, those valves northwest of the plant, no construction over there. That wasn't part of it. And no, redoing the water line out of the plant was not a part of the demo work.
Okay. So I guess why now, I guess, all this stuff that needs to be done? Because I thought that the plan was, I guess, we were going to spend the money on that building, and then after that, I guess, all that would be on the new, I guess, owner.
You're asking a question I can't answer. What are you going to do with the building, right? That's kind of the crux of the discussion.
So then I guess, who's the one that I guess wants all this work done then?
Well, this is something we asked them to look at pricing for us.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
And why? I guess why do we want
To make
this
it
done?
sellable, marketable, safety.
So I thought that the reason why that we didn't do the other work was that, all that stuff was gonna stay as is, and then even the new owner would then, maybe they just want that stuff, or just do.
I would have to look back at our minutes, but I think we asked for it. I can't remember exactly what our discussion was, Casey. I thought we talked about having it done, and that's why we talked about having them price it, because it could be put under the 60-40 cost share. which would, you know, these numbers, am I right? This would be 19,000 something would be our cost if we do this with the cost share, Monty?
Yeah. More or less.
That's, unless someone else remembers differently.
Well, I guess this is the first that I hear of this stuff, you know. I mean, someone's gotta know why, I guess this has to be done now. I mean, all stuff wasn't brought up before.
Well, I think in the past, we did talk about the fact that we had where the old water tower was, that we had some plank things over there, and that we wanted to get that cleaned up. The part that we took out of there was that huge expense for the underground vaults, or the underground water storage component of the facility behind to the north. I don't recall the 2 concrete vaults, but I do remember that there was conversation about cleaning it up, get the fence down and stuff like that, and filling in where the, so.
And yes, I
Pretty
mean,
sure we talked.
all that part, yes, but I thought, you know, all that we're gonna do on the vaults is just, I guess, move some dirt in there and just be done with it, you know, not that I just have to spend, I mean, I guess.
There's no gun to your guys' head. This is
It's been
work that
23,000.
can get done now and try and make this. We did take out a bunch of the demo work, but these were items that I don't think there's any argument that these things should be done. I think you're pretty much asking me, should we be doing them now ourselves, right?
Well, I would like to know why, I guess, we're gonna do them. I guess, you know, I guess who's gonna buy the building or what? You know,
The 2
what's the
concrete
price
vaults,
tag on
is
the
that
building gonna be?
area under the old water tower?
Yes, it's, well, and honestly, it could be just to the side of it. I
Right.
can't picture exactly where the.
Well, I know we had talked about getting that cleaned up, and I'm guessing that when Moore took a look at what the scope would be on that, that's probably where that 3 feet below the existing grade to fill in with the dirt and all that kind of stuff, so that you didn't have something sticking above the ground there.
Well, like Jared said, we don't have
What do
a
you-
gun to our head, this doesn't have to be done. You know, I think if we wanna sell this facility, which I'm assuming we did agree on that, you know, these are the things that we should do to make it sellable, marketable. But
So then on the vaults, I guess, why not leave those in place and just, I guess, move in, you know, just move in dirt or something. on
Let's
the
go through each
vaults?
one, the vaults.
Yeah.
I don't have any photos in front of me, but
what was that, Jared?
okay, so let's just go through each one then. There's 2 vaults, and we probably have to take you over there and show you, Casey, but there's a plate on top of them. And so there's 2 great big concrete vaults that are 10 feet deep that have big 12-inch cast iron piping, valving, meters, down at the bottom. So if you're gonna do something with that property over there, they're in the way, right? So the scope we'd be looking at doing would be taking the lids, cutting them off 3 feet below ground and getting rid of all that piping so you can do something with that property. If you don't do it, you just really can't use that area for much. It could stay the way it is, but it just makes it kind of tough to use. And like I said, one of those vaults is covered with wood that's all rotted out. So if we don't do this, we should do something else with it. It's just a chance to get it all cleaned up, though.
Hey Jared, Jason here. Is there anything saying that a guy, like Casey said, take a more affordable route, do we have to clean the piping, the metering out? Is that gonna be a health hazard, or is the city down the road gonna see some repercussion if we just fill that in with dirt, or?
Without taking out all those piping?
Yeah, I'm just wondering.
Well, I guess, I don't know if we'd save that much money if we cut off the top of the concrete balls below ground and don't physically, take apart all the piping and haul it to the dump. We'd just be burying cast iron pipe that eventually will rust out and fail and might get a little sinkhole out of it. But I mean, the correct way to do it would be to get it all out of there so it's all taken care of.
Dave?
At
We
this
could
point, we don't
probably-
know if them valves are actually dead.
Chop.
There might be water down there through them valves, and if you bury them and they rust out, you'd have a problem.
Could cap them still though.
You'd have to cap them and get that out of there, but just to fill it with dirt with functioning valves down there probably wouldn't be a good idea. We need to get down there and find out if there's actually live water there. Or if they're just closed, or if they're abandoned and cut somewhere else. The 12-inch water main in the building evidently has froze over the winter here, and it is leaking in the building. We got it isolated now, but way to sell a building with a 12-inch water main going into it the way it is, it comes in the building above ground. Whoever buys that, if they wouldn't maintain that properly, and that would freeze, and the rest of the city would have one hell of a water leak.
A 12-inch main?
We'd have a 12-inch main leak that we'd be scrambling to shut down.
So we could take that 6-8 feet below ground and cap it, right?
That's what their intentions are, is to dig down, cut it off, cap it, put a saddle on, and actually put in a usable 2-inch water service.
So you're not gonna dig it all the way back to the
No,
water
they're just
main?
gonna dig down to the elbow.
That was my,
Get it out of that wall.
okay. That was my question, why are we digging it all the way back to the water main if the pipes?
Well, we had to look for some stuff the other day, and the water plant went in there, and
That makes sense.
it did freeze this winter. That room is heated, and there is a heater in that outside box, but that strong wind we had when we had that cold snap, it did freeze that 12-inch line. There's just no water movement there. It's just gonna get worse, like I said, we have it isolated out in the street, but to sell that building, they're gonna want water, gonna open it up, and there's gonna be a leak inside.
So that portion of it would cost $22,000 to install the 2-inch.
Yeah, they're gonna, yeah, with that, so right now you got a 12-inch water line running into the building, and that's not normal. You serve buildings with small lines, building and undermine it. If something happens to the 12-inch line, probably undermine the whole thing. So that's just not a normal way of doing things. If we're repurposing the building for a dance hall or a garage or whatever it is, the past use was different. So we would have them take out the 12-inch line and run a new 2-inch line in there, with like a meter somewhere so that it would be served differently. That's the 22,000.
And that's down, like Dave said, to that elbow, not all the way back to the main, right, Jared?
Yeah. We wouldn't be getting into the streets, no. Right, Grant? We'd be in the boulevard.
So they are digging it all the way back to the street.
Well, that's where they put the saddle in the corporation.
Do we have to go all the way back to the alleyway?
We're not going
Or to the,
To the below.
to the boulevard? Do we have to go that far, Jared, or?
I'm
To,
sure we could shorten it up a little bit. I mean, in where I'm at, I feel like we should we're gonna do this, we should probably abandon that 12-inch a little ways back from the building, as far as we can. We, I don't know what it is between the street and the building, maybe 20 feet. But we should get it as far away as we can when we do this, just in case something leaks. I'd hate to see a big washout underneath that building. We're not doing anything crazy here. I think it's just as far as we can go.
We'd be locating the curb stop back what would be typical for a building like that under a normal service fee, correct?
Yep.
That's true.
Yep, in the boulevard, probably in the, try not to put it in the sidewalk, good.
Can we reevaluate this and look at it a little differently,
Sure. Like I said, there's no gun to your guys' head. This is a chance to get more work done here this spring, if you guys see fit. You can award one or none, and we can talk about it next month if you want.
Any other thoughts, board? Please. Dave?
I can see Casey's point, but then you think about the 60, that grant. That initial price is sticker shock to anybody, period. Now, I remember talking about it, but I remember going 3 feet down, saw the tops off those vaults, abandoning that and filling it. I do remember, I don't know, Monty, if we table this, can we go back and get a better clarification and talk about it next meeting?
I can
Is
send
that a
you,
problem?
I can send you minutes from the discussions. It's not a problem.
Do you wanna do that, Casey?
Yeah.
See what we talk,
I would just like to know, I guess, what the plan is with that building. Like, even if we're gonna spend this money, is that gonna get then, like, added on the value, of that building? Or are we just gonna let it go for?
Well, the process of the building, what Monty and I've talked to Pat, is that you'd have to go up for bid first. We could set a minimum, or what we can accept or refuse any bid we want, correct, Mark? So if we don't reach, let's say, 100,000 or whatever we want, Heather Strummy gave us a ballpark bid on the value of it, which is well over that. And if we don't accept any bids, then we can actually put it up for sale, correct, Monty? We can have it listed if we don't accept the bids? Or was that something Pat was?
Positive on that one, Pat was gonna check on
Yeah.
that, because if we put it out there and we receive the bids, but they don't meet our minimum, then do you just have to rebid it or re-advertise it, or can you actually?
My gut reaction is that you would want to, in the bid, you'd want to put your minimum price in there so you don't get into that scenario. It is bids under X dollars, the city has the right to refuse. And then you can proceed from there, whether it's listing it with a real estate agent or relisting it for bid. But that's how I think I would go about that. And then you're not running afoul. And if somebody wants to try to lowball you, you've got the ability to say, hey, look, we reserve the right to reject this bid below this dollar threshold.
I just lost the conference.
And then if we don't get any bids to meet that, then you put it for sale by the
Yeah.
realtor?
Yeah.
So that's kind of my piece. So even if you did work to it,
Welcome to My One Number. If you are the host, press star now. Please enter your
So then after
PIN followed
that,
by the pound or
I'm gonna
hash.
take, I guess, like what the minimum would be or more.
Thank you. There are two participants in the
Our
conference.
decision.
Please announce
I mean, are you
yourself.
gonna turn down the bid, top bid, and then after that, you're gonna say, well, I don't want that person, I guess, to have it, you know, so then I'm not going to accept that bid, but then I'm gonna sell it at then, I guess like lower price,
We'd be foolish to sell it at a lower price.
out on the person, I guess, that you want to have it.
Well, I don't know who.
There are three
Who we want-
participants in the
We want
conference.
to have it.
Please announce
If they can have the
yourself.
person we want to have it. We talked about it to not be a junkyard or to be.
Yeah. I know.
Correct, but we
I
can
know.
put, that's what we can put conditions in there too, that say, you know, can't be used for whatever
Yeah.
purposes, so. Those are decisions we have to make collectively,
Yeah,
on how we want to list it, or
yeah.
expectations, or whatever, so. Yeah,
Yeah, I agree with Jerry, if we throw out a minimum 100,000, nope, we don't want this guy to have it, but we want this guy to have it for 50, we'd be foolish to.
well,
That
that
would be
kind of
just-
sounds illegal too, sounds like.
Yeah.
I think you'd have
against the
some
law.
serious explaining.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
at the same time, by not doing some of this work, if some of it would backfire and you'd have major settling, or you'd have a 12-inch line go in somebody's property, and all of a sudden you were presenting them with, say, a $30,000 bill because of all that water, I think you'd have even more explaining to do. I mean, I think that when you guys are selling it, property, you've got a good faith basis that you've got to present to a buyer that this property doesn't have any, I'll say, latent defects that you guys would know about that a future prospective buyer may not know about. And I would be very, very careful about setting yourselves up for that type of failure.
I agree.
That's something that there's some monstrous lawsuits out there in the state of Minnesota on.
And we can probably, you know, I know Monty and I have talked to Pat a couple times, but I think he's been busy or whatever, but we do need to get moving on marketing that somehow to get it out for bids and decide what we want to put on there as conditions, so. You know, and Monty's talked, he can work at any time we want him to get started on that, so. But I think things like this need to be taken care of first, and we'd be done with all this stuff, but there might be a better way to do it.
Is that the last of the stuff that needs to be done to that building to get it on the market? That you're
That's
aware of?
is that, Jared, is that the last of the stuff that needs to be done then, to this building? Dave?
I thought there was a little bit of electrical cleanup to be done yet. The last time I talked to Mark Olson
Okay.
and stuff, I thought this winter, if there was bad enough weather or he got caught up, that there was a few breakers in there he's not too sure on, he needs to terminate.
Was that part of our initial bid project, or?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Good.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, now.
Yep. Okay. We've had a little bit of feedback here, so I had to change some things, but yes, I mean, we've talked on and on about different things to do there, but, like garage doors and what to knock out and what to do. We'll do whatever you decide. But I'm gonna leave these three things on my report for next month. Is what I'm sounding, or is what I'm hearing, or?
Can you hear me, Jared?
Yes, Jerry.
So, I think one of the things we're questioning right now is the capping of the 12-inch water main. Does that run to the west of the building? So if that's 60 feet from the building to the boulevard, can that be,
do we have to go back that far? And can we reevaluate what that would cost if we, still do the poly, the 2-inch coming into the building, but do we have to go all the way back to the, and if that's something we can look at. And then, like Casey said, maybe filling that vault instead of, I don't know,
Sure.
something more cost effective.
I will keep working with Dan in Public Works, and we can relook at that.
Okay. We want it cost effective and we want it good for resale, I guess, and safe and,
Get it too.
yeah, we don't want a piece of 3/4 plywood.
Only trying to do the minimum, I know.
I do see
Okay.
a problem though, only going so far back and then capping it and like basically reducing it. Is you have a curb stop out in the middle of nowhere.
You have to make sure you're reserving a right of access then.
Yeah.
And
Plus they couldn't build over that part, where if you went all the way back towards the sidewalk and say not cross the sidewalk, at least it'd be somewhat in a normal position.
So curb stop on this side of the sidewalk at least.
Yeah.
I was under the assumption they were gonna dig out like towards the boulevard. That's where they were gonna cut and cap and put, the curb stop and the corporation. And by the building, they were just gonna dig down to that elbow and eliminate that one section of pipe. The rest of the stuff was gonna stay buried and abandoned.
Yeah.
It is what I was
Still
under
have
the
to dig
assumption.
that
They were just gonna
2
cut out
inch.
enough section so they can put a cap on. Dig one hole there, one up by the building just to eliminate.
Okay.
I can get that clarified, but I believe that's what was gonna happen.
Oh, so we just have abandoned pipe laying there? It's
Yes, so
okay.
the 12-inch would stay buried, it would just be disconnected, capped.
We just fish the 2-inch through the old abandoned 12-inch.
There's an abandoned 8-inch that they were gonna run the poly in.
Oh, there
That way
were?
you don't have to punch a new hole in the wall,
Okay.
the whole grade.
We have a map, and if I were there, I could probably show it to you, but you just didn't come because of the weather. So I think I can clarify this with the map we can send you tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess we can do that, Jerry, then have Monty look at the minutes, see what, and talk about it next meeting. Is that fair, Casey?
Okay.
What?
What else, Jared?
Okay, all right, so that's my only action item. Really, I just want to mention a couple other things. On the water system project, we will probably have a debate at your next meeting. CAN Construction had asked for 2 change orders throughout the project that we denied. One related to some demolition work at the treatment plant and kind of involved some of the windows in the building. And then the other one was related to some curb on Bluegrass. And again, we denied them, but they've come back and want to keep discussing it, negotiate on them. I don't have anything real concrete for you, but just be aware that we've got 2 things that may end up being debated at your council meeting next month, or we bring a resolution for you outside of that. But we've had a number of meetings with TAND and involved Auntie and Dave and Dan and those things as well. Just 2 things that are floating out there that we'll probably be discussing in the future. Then I guess other things to bring up and mention is that, again, reminding you, in the springtime, it's being covered almost all by the PAR grant. Next thing to mention is that we did have a meeting with Williams Building Company last week. Tim Williams was in Hazen and met with us, and again, some city staff and water committee member. Generally, as everything stands out there in that subdivision, you recall we have sanitary sewer that failed its tests. We have subgrade of the pipe and below the street that's not compacted. They've indicated to us that they're planning to reconstruct all of that this summer so that they can begin marketing that subdivision and selling lots. Everything sounded good in the meeting that we were in. Sorry, Terry was in that meeting too. But I don't have a schedule from them. I don't have, a start date, but they were here negotiating with, I think Sledden's. They were looking to get some help from them, and they were going to bring some of their own construction crew from the East Coast to come out and do some of this work. Not all entirely clear what they can do in-house and what they can do with a local contractor. I guess once we get to the detailed scope of work and a schedule from them, I'll present it to you. I'll show you what they're planning to do. So it sounds like they're moving in the right direction, and that work would be done May, June timeframe. They ultimately want to develop and sell lots and build homes. I thought that was a good meeting. Otherwise, I don't have anything else. I just have my normal items on the agenda related to some of the other funding options and ongoing items that are out there. Anyone have any questions or concerns for us?
Nope, we're good. Thank you, Jared.
Okay. We're going to stick on the phone here for a little bit, but so just yell if you need us.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to 6A, local permit for Hazen, the Bison trap team. Looks like they're doing a raffle for some guns.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Hack.
Second.
Second by Weidrich. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Street closure request from the Dash to have a Touch the Truck event. And they want to close off part of the street for on the 18th of July, and so they can try to, looks like they're trying to line up fire trucks and ambulance or whatnot, and they just, for safety of kids being in the street, they want to close off that street for a while. And they need our permission to do that. From 12 p.m. to 4:30.
Monty, I didn't see on there, how much do they want to do, a block, half a block,
They want to do that whole
the
block.
whole block?
From IBEW to Union State.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Okay, motion to approve by Weidrich.
Second.
Second by Hack. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. And then 6C is free reduced hall rent for the Hazen Hospital Auxiliary doing their turkey dinner, I think. Is that what Little Latimer's got
It's
in
a
here?
turkey dinner. Yeah.
Yep, turkey dinner from Little Latimer and the ladies. We need to approve that if we want.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Pillar,
Second.
second by Stern. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right. Turkey dinner. Okay, reports, water, sewer.
Okay, we had some issues over at lift station number 4. Some rags got sucked into our pumps over there. They went ahead and pulled the pumps out, got them split, got them cleaned out and everything. In the course of performing that work, they found that the power feeds to those pumps, similar to one of our other lift stations where we have to come in and replace the power cable. We got that type of situation, so we directed the water boys to reach out and get a quote. So we'll be bringing that, if they get the quote back in time, to our next meeting so that we can get that approved and scheduled so that we don't have a catastrophic failure and be left high and dry, or not high and dry, maybe low and wet. If we don't get that done sooner, then that's all I got for tonight.
Which one's number 4 again, Dave?
Yogi Bear.
Yogi Bear.
Hoover second.
There by Yogi Bear Park. And over there by, on the northeast part of town.
Okay. Anything else, Dan?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Streets.
I've got nothing at this time other than proceeding forward with the, I don't know where we're at with fabrication of the gate. I've kind of
Yeah, I
let
don't
that,
know if Mike has talked to Free recently.
let that alone, I've let that alone. Mike had a family emergency, so he's kind
Is he
of,
back?
he's back, but next week is the funeral, so.
I drove by this morning and looked and the gate had not moved yet. So,
Okay,
I don't, other than that, I don't know.
right.
So we're supposed to get another shot of 3 to 5 inches, what, tomorrow night?
Well, today all the way through Thursday. was
Tonight
all-
through Thursday? Okay. So what's the plan on moving snow then if we do get another?
If we get
Do
another
we do
4 or
anything
5
today?
inches, we'd,
Do we do anything today?
no, I was with, working on that lift station all day today for over half.
Right, but everybody else, I mean,
Everybody else is gone, just Garrett and I.
And the garbage
truck
crew.
is all.
okay.
Hoping maybe tomorrow morning we'll do part of Main Street. Get the stuff that come off the sidewalk to do one pass, but it don't pay to blade in the middle, you can see all the tar, crack sealing tar or whatever it is, it's really thin once you drive on it. Pack it down, but if we get more snow, yeah, we'll get the emergency snow route going.
Okay. Finance, busing,
So then on the library side of it, it's on the state bill, I think that was, that was a Senate bill. Twenty-three 60. So that bill had passed, and I guess what that bill is I guess any kind of book that's in the library, that's not, I guess, that's not, I guess, a child, appropriate book, I guess would have to go. And I'm being told that then I guess like 3/4 of the books over there would be gone. And then in 2, it would be up to the staff, to then like read every book to see once if it would, I guess, meet that or not. So, I'm not sure yet, that's what we're gonna do over there.
so we had 1 book for sure?
Well, I guess, so out of all the books that are there, we'd have to get rid of, I guess, like 3/4 of them, I guess.
Buster, you had a comment?
Well, just a comment, but that was just out of the Senate, right? They haven't had crossover yet.
Crossover
yeah.
starts this, tomorrow,
Yeah, so-
Thursday crossover.
So, I mean, that's the proposed legislation
Yeah.
as of right now,
So to pass the Senate.
but it has to go to the House.
Right, yeah,
Yeah, and of course, there has been some opposition to it.
yeah.
Quite a
I saw
lot.
the Bismarck, I saw an article there.
Yeah, and part of it, I think, the crux of the whole thing is the sexual nature of supposedly what's in some of the text in some of those books. But, so for instance, like, I was told that there's some Dr. Seuss books that are supposed to go. So, I don't, I'm not sure, what will become of it, to be honest with you.
There is a lot of,
Maybe Mark can shed some light on it, in terms of, there is such a thing as, well,
I know the article I saw, the Bismarck Public Library said they'd have to have 2 separate libraries. They'd have to have a Bismarck Adult Public Library
yeah,
and a Bismarck Youth Public Library, because there are tens of thousands of each.
yeah.
So I think it's gonna have, the House side's gonna, there's gonna be a lot of people that testifying.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, historically, in some instances, they haven't been on necessarily the same page, the Senate folks and the House folks. So even though I think our representative on the House side is in favor of doing it, but I haven't officially heard that, but just in some other conversations and stuff I've seen, I think it's pretty evident.
Monty's got something to
From what
add.
I've heard, there was actually 2 bills. One passed the House, one passed the Senate, now they'll cross over. Both dealing with basically the same thing.
But different at the same time, I'm guessing.
Similar but different, yeah.
Yeah, basically, it's censorship is what it is.
Well, Casey, the part of your portfolio, you're gonna help read all those books, right?
That's right, I guess so.
Lead dog, baby.
Yeah.
Popcorn.
Yeah, that's right.
Reading Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
All right, police, fire.
Still no word on that engine, and no word on when we can get a new police rig yet. Monty was gonna check today, I think he said he was gonna check with Steve.
I never did get ahold of Steve, no.
I did contact a Ford dealership that Cato just ordered a bunch of pickups through for their fleet program because they weren't able to get them through GM. But Ford's just closed, so it don't sound like we'll be able to even switch.
Their
to
program
Ford.
did?
Yeah, sounds like their fleet program closed already for the year. I did reach out to Dodge, because they do one, like the Durango, but I haven't heard back from them yet at all either, so just kind of on limbo mode on there. And then, not last week, but the week before that, Mercer County's task force did a little operation or a search warrant in Hazen. They did want me to bring it up that they found over a pound of meth, a few firearms, and a few $1,000 in cash. And then there was one arrest on that too. but
There wasn't?
There was.
Oh,
So at least we got a whole bunch of drugs out of the town. And that's all I have. Oh, then on the fire side, it is this weekend we are going up to Minot for fire school. At least there's a whole bunch of us going this year for fire school, as long as we can make it there if the weather holds out. It starts Friday morning. So we got that going on the fire side, but that's all I got from there so far.
okay. Thank you. Buster?
Yeah, so, we had our annual meeting last Wednesday. We had a kind of a small crowd. We didn't have 30. I thought we were gonna have probably about 32 or 33, but we have, of course, you always end up with a couple of no-shows and what have you, but, our consultant for the Partners or Planning Grant was the main speaker of the evening and went through some of the highlights of what he had seen from the focus groups in terms of things that, from the 3 different focus groups, and then also from the surveys. And one of the things that I'll say is that I was pretty pleased to hear that, we had about 113 kids, or it was 117 kids that participated in the survey. We had over 200 community members who participated in the community survey, and we had 44 businesses that participated in the business survey. And so that, I think, gave a pretty good cross-section of where things were at relative to, numbers, and so he was pretty pleased with those numbers. And I think overall, it was a very positive report in terms of the jury was there, but yeah, a lot of good responses and what have you. Now, moving forward, of course, the plan is that he's going to put all that information together and get it in written format and get it to us so that we have a chance to take a look at it. And he did mention too that they did have a chance to work with, Jared from the city's perspective, and also that information will get included in that final document. So we were able to get an extension on that application, and I'm anticipating that we should be seeing that final document probably in April, no later than April, because that's about the end of our time commitment from that. Yeah, so that's all that I have.
Thanks, Buster.
Yeah.
Okay, moving down to new business. Refrigerator replacement.
The single refrigerator here at City Hall that we purchased in 2014, we've had repaired several times, and we've just been told that there's no way it's going to ever be back. It doesn't keep the temperature cold enough to actually be useful. So I reached out to Capital City Restaurant Supply, and they provided a quote for several different options on that refrigerator. Basically, in visiting with them, they're all pretty much the same. It's just a matter of some of the extra bells and whistles. I was thinking, a couple years ago, we got that 2-door merchandiser that with the sliding doors, which has been very good. So I was, if you were interested, we would purchase the top one there. It's a 23 cubic foot, the same as the refrigerator that's currently in there. And it would be $2,500. And that would be a single door, swinging door merchandiser.
And you said that was the same as the other one we have,
Yeah,
or similar?
yeah. Except the other one is obviously larger, it has the
Right,
2 sliding doors.
right.
Yeah. I don't think anything's made to last real long anymore.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the top refrigerator.
25.
okay. Motion by Weider,
Second.
second by Hack. Discussion. Roll call.
Weider.
Aye.
Hack.
Aye.
Pillar.
Aye.
Stern.
Aye.
Obenauer.
Aye. Carried. What do we do with the old, the one that's in there?
Scrap it out, throw it in the dumpster, and get our money out of it.
We take it to Casey's?
It's okay, I got enough.
Build a smoker out of it.
I'll take it to Matt.
Take the door off, and it'll go.
There you go, yeah.
Will be
Duck farm.
20 budget amendments.
I did find an error when I loaded this today. I did correct it. The initial one sent out showed that we had overspent the 2014 street project by 1.2 million. That was actually the year before when we refinanced the bonds. So I took that out, so you would be looking at adjusting the revenue side of the budget, $1.3 million and change, and the expenditure side of the budget by $525,000. Based on what we had budgeted and what the actual income and and expenses were.
Questions from Monty? Okay, we have to approve the amendments.
So moved.
Motion by Stern,
Second.
second by Hack. Discussion. Roll call.
Stern,
Aye.
Hack,
Aye.
Pillar,
Aye.
Weidrich,
Aye.
Obenauer.
Aye. Motion carried. Approval of bills, no, sorry, public comments. Okay, no, okay. All right.
I thought I heard you say you want that refrigerator?
I think you probably would like
Bring it.
I did, yeah.
Approval of bills.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Hack. Did you?
Yeah, second.
Second by Weidrich. Discussion. Roll call.
Hack,
Aye.
Weidrich,
Aye.
Pillar,
Aye.
Stern,
Aye.
Obenauer.
Aye. Okay, bills are approved. Meeting adjourned. Have a good night. Thanks, Dan.